We're live.
Okay, thank you very much, Rochelle. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the February 17th Subdivision Review Committee. um, if the clerk would please call the roll and establish a quorum.
Certainly. Chair Holloway,
Present.
Member Michelini,
Present.
Member Santiago,
Here.
Member Floyd,
Here.
Member Nygren,
Here.
and Member Hicks.
Present.
And we do have a quorum.
Okay. In compliance with directives of the county, state, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, this meeting is live streamed and closed to the public. Temporary procedures are subject to change pursuant to guidelines related to social distancing and minimizing person-to-person contact. To make a verbal comment at today's meeting, please dial 916-875-2500 and follow the prompts to be placed into the queue for a specific agenda item or off-agenda item. When open the public comment for a specific item or off-agenda matter, you'll be transferred from the queue into the meeting to make a verbal comment. Written comments are always acceptable and accepted. Please send your email comment to board clerk, that's a capital B and capital C, one word, at saccounty.net. Your comment will be routed to the committee and filed in the record. Please speak with a handset or headset. Mute your devices when not speaking to minimize background noise. Announce your name when speaking on agenda items so all participants and listeners are aware who has the floor. When the chair calls for a motion and a second, please announce your name prior to making the motion or the second, and the clerk will take a voice vote and confirm the results. Subdivision Review Committee is the county's hearing authority and designated advisory body for all matters relating to tentative parcel maps. The committee is comprised of senior staff from county departments of planning, engineering, environmental management, a safety officer from either Metro Fire or the Sheriff's Department, and myself, a public representative appointed by the board. In instances where an item being considered by the committee involves a use permit, special development permit, or other type of permit, a simultaneous meeting of this committee and the zoning administrator may be convened, and the representative from planning may also act as a zoning administrator and render decisions on certain permit applications. As a hearing authority for these items, the committee takes into consideration all county codes, the general plan, and other relevant county ordinances, resolutions, policies, and regulations applicable to its examination and review of tentative parcel maps. The decision of these matters is final unless an appeal is filed within 10 days, and that's 10 calendar days, of the decision with the clerk of the board. Appeals of the committee decisions are considered by the Planning Commission. Excuse me. So first thing we should do is administer the oath to any of the public representatives who may be speaking today.
Please raise your right hand, and the appropriate response is I do. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give this committee is the truth, so help you God? If you do not swear, do you so affirm? And this is for applicant Gerald Jenkins.
Yes, my name is Gerald Jenkins. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. My name is Gerald Jenkins, and I do hereby swear that all my statements today are true and are true.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, before we read the first item, I think everybody probably is aware that Member Santiago is retiring. I can't remember the date. I know it's coming up pretty soon. I just wanted to take a moment and thank Tony for his many years of service to the committee and his especially good customer service to applicants and designers and civil engineers and architects. He has really been a beacon in terms of his work at the county and his service to this committee. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank Tony. And I'm hoping that there is a upcoming retirement party and roast before he does leave county service.
Thank you, Brian. No roast. I know you guys want to take your last shot at me. So here's your opportunity, Brian.
Okay, anybody else like to take a shot at Tony before he leaves us and then moves on to a very fun retirement and more golf? Okay, thank you, Tony. You know, you've been the best. Really appreciate all your hard work and humor and service to the committee. Okay, and would the clerk please call the first item, which is the approval of the minutes?
Item 1 is to approve the action summary from January 6, 2022.
Okay, are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, a motion would be appropriate.
Yeah, this is Member Michelini. I move to approve the action summary from January 6, 2022.
Member Santiago seconds.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you both. Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, would the clerk please call the roll? Hello? Rochelle, did I get dropped?
I can hear you fine, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian, I think Rochelle might be muted, maybe.
This is Alma from the clerk's office. She may be having audio problems, so I'll just take the vote if you don't mind, Chairperson Holloway.
That's perfect. Thank you, Alma.
And
So
there
we
were
have
no
a
public.
motion and a second?
Thank you. And there was no public comments on this item.
Perfect.
Okay, Member Holloway,
Aye.
Member Michelini,
Aye.
Member Santiago,
Aye.
Member Floyd,
Aye.
and I'm sorry, I didn't get to hear who the voting member, if it was Member Nygren or Member Hicks this morning.
Member Nygren.
Member Nygren.
Thank you. Thank you. And the vote, and it's a unanimous vote with those members present.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Alma. Okay.
You're welcome.
Would someone please read hearing item number 2, 6115 Verner Avenue?
I'll go ahead and read it in the record and then go figure out what's happening with Rochelle. This is a project at 6115 Verner Avenue at Thousand Oaks in the northwestern corner of the intersection of Verner Avenue and Verner Oak Court in the Carmichael Old Foothill Farms community. Their environmental dock is a mitigated negative declaration, and the request is for a tentative parcel map and design review.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, and do we have a presentation from staff?
Yes, good morning, Chair Holloway, members of the committee. This is David Ulrey, the project manager for the 6115 Verner Avenue at Thousand Oaks parcel map. Hi. So I'm not sure if Rochelle is able to get up the PowerPoint here. I have it on my end and I could give a verbal presentation, but let's see if we can get it up on the blue jeans here.
If not, I will put it up, okay?
Okay.
This is Alma from the clerk's office. Just give me a sec. Do you see it, David?
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and get started here. Again, this is 6115 Verner Avenue. Slide, please. So as previously mentioned, it's located at 6115 Verner Avenue at the northeastern corner of the intersection of Verner Avenue and Verner Oaks Court within the Carmichael and Old Foothill Farms community. The setting, it's surrounded by 1- and 2-story residential, sloping topography with 10 feet of variation from the northern boundary peak to the southern boundary along Verner. The site has a mix of several native oaks and a non-native canopy. Next slide, please. And really quick, just to add, for any members of the public, if you do want to make a comment, please call 916-875-2501. Apologies, I kind of missed that with the mix-up on the PowerPoint here. But so some community context. It's zoned RD2 and is within a RD2 neighborhood, so that's 2 residential dwelling units per acre. Surrounding land uses: single family to the north, east, and west, with a mix of single and 2-family residential. Next slide, please. So some site history. It was part of a 644 acre parent parcel that was created in 1910. In 1938, the Thousand Oaks subdivision went through that created a 1.1 acre parcel and a 1 acre parcel. In 1947, the single family residence was created. And in 1974, the current 1.79 acre configuration was established. And here we have site imagery from 1953. Context. Okay, please. So the entitlement request is a tentative parcel map to divide a 1.79 acre parcel into 3 parcels in the RD2 zoning district, as well as a design review to comply with the Sacramento County countywide design. Next slide, please. So here we have the proposed tentative parcel map, 3 parcels. It is important to note that this design was vetted by the Design Review Advisory Committee that found it substantially compliant. One item that did come up is kind of the irregular shape of the lots. However, the DRAC did look at that and determined that it was in keeping with surrounding irregularly shaped parcels within the community. Next slide, please. So environmental review, the environmental document is an initial study and mitigated negative declaration, which was released on December 22nd. And it discussed a whole host of impacts, including air quality, hydrology and water quality, wetlands and surface waters, native trees, non-native tree canopy, nesting birds of prey, migratory nesting birds, cultural resources, and greenhouse gas emissions. And it concluded that the project would result in a less than significant impact with the implementation of the mitigation measures contained in attachment 2. Next slide, please. So advisory recommendations. The Carmichael Old Foothill Farms CPAC did meet on December 16th of 2020 and recommended that the SRC approve the project. And as I previously mentioned, the DRAC did meet as well and recommends that the project be found in substantial compliance with the countywide design guidelines. Next slide, please. So project analysis. The project's consistent with the general plan, community plan, and zoning code as conditioned, as well as the development standards of the RD2 zoning district. Compatible with surrounding parcel sizes, densities, and land uses. And an initial study and mitigated negative declaration were prepared, which concluded the project would have a less than significant impact environment with the implementation of the mitigation measures. All required findings for the approval of the tentative parcel map can be made. And so some key conditions that have been added in attachment 2. Condition 1, project shall comply with all ordinances, statutes, regulations, and procedures of the county. And it is important to note that during CPAC, it was brought up that there was a concern of noise resulting from any possible construction on the site. And so I did want to point out that condition 1 does include compliance with the county noise ordinance. Condition 9, which is mitigation measure B. So the site does, or the project will result in the removal of 36 inches of native trees. And so that will require in-kind planting for mitigation. Condition 11, so non-native tree canopy, in the same situation there, 2,402 square feet of canopy will require equivalent acreage to be compensated for. Condition 12, mitigation measure E, the roadside drainage feature will require applicable permits from the United States Army Corps of Engineers and the Central Valley Regional Water Quality Control Board prior to improvement plan approval. If it is determined that the waters are non-jurisdictional, that shall be submitted to the environmental coordinator for their review. And then condition 31, on-site and off-site drainage facilities will be required prior to the issuance of a building permit. And next slide, please. So staff's recommendation is for approval and recommends the following actions: that the SRC determine the environmental analysis prepared pursuant to CEQA is adequate and complete, adopt the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, approve the tentative parcel map subject to the findings and conditions of attachment 2, and find the project in substantial compliance with the countywide design guidelines subject to the findings and conditions in attachment 2. And next slide. And so with that, that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions, and Gerald Jenkins with the applicant team is on the line as well.
Okay, thank you very much, David. Do we have any questions for staff?
Brian, this is Megan Floyd.
Hi, Megan.
Can you hear me? Okay, wasn't sure if you can hear me. Advisories number 77 and 78 should be conditions with a timing trigger of prior to final occupancy.
And just to clarify, that's they shall be connected to public sewer and water, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, I have a quick question. I'm looking at the parcel map right now. It's very unique and creative, and I was just wondering, were any deviations to the standard lot requirements required for especially A and C?
Oddly enough, no. They have the minimum width requirement and size requirements for the RD2 zone. So the width is for the frontage. So there isn't a minimum width farther into the parcels that's required.
Very creative solution. Okay, any other questions for David? None appearing. How about if we hear from the applicant?
Good morning, all. My name is Gerald Jenkins, and David and I have been working on this for quite a while, along with Javed from JTS. We actually have Pastor, who is the attendee, in case you have any technical questions. But I think our work reflects that we went to great lengths to comply with the general plan, the community plan, and the zoning ordinance. As for the mitigation of the trees, we agree with that and plant necessary trees, and also deal with any of the environmental things that go along with the Army Corps of Engineers or water resources. It has been our plan in the beginning to connect to water and sewer, which we will do. And I might add that the reason we have these strange configurations, well, different configurations, are that these are all family members. There's an uncle and two nephews that are buying this, that own this parcel, and they're going to live at the site. So that's my take on everything. If you have any technical questions, Pastor is an attendee. You can direct them to him. Are there any questions?
Do we have any questions? Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, this is
from the committee?
Member Michelini. I got a question for the applicant. Have you read and comfortable with the conditions of approval, even with the 2 changes today?
Yes, we're comfortable with those. Yes, and the connection to sewer and water prior to issuance of a building permit, that would be, prior to final, that's fine with us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark, for asking that question. I regularly forget to ask that. Okay. Is there any public comment on this item other than what we received in the via email?
We currently do not have the public comment, and like what you said is primarily the written comment that we received, that I sent the email.
Okay, so nobody on the line.
That is correct.
Okay, all right. Well, we have heard from all the parties. What's the pleasure of the committee?
This is Member Michelini. I recommend approval and we determine that the environmental document is adequate, adopt the mitigation monitoring and reporting program, approve the tentative parcel map subject to findings and conditions of attachment 2, and define the project in substantial compliance with the design review guidelines.
Hey, Member Michelini, this is David Ulrey with planning, but just to clarify on the revisions to the conditions for EMD conditions 79 and 80, did you want to include in your motion that those be made or changed from advisories to conditions?
Yes, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, and to include in my recommendation, to make I think it was 77 and 78, to take those out of advisories and make those part of the conditions of approval. Hopefully that was said all correctly.
Okay. I
Member
think so.
Santiago,
All
second.
Right. So we have a motion and a...
Member Santiago,
Thank
second.
you very much. Okay. Thank you, Tony. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Without any further discussion, if the clerk would please call the roll.
Certainly. Chair Holloway?
Aye.
Member Michelini?
Aye.
Member Santiago?
Aye.
Member Floyd?
Aye.
And Member Nygren?
Aye.
And
motion passes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And I go back to the agenda here. And okay, next item would be item number 3, which would be a staff update. Do we have a staff update?
Brian, Javier Zaragoza will be attending the next SRC meeting, and thereafter, of course, we'll have to assign somebody else to be part of the hearing body as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Any other staff update?
Okay. Yes.
Good morning. This is Kimber Gutierrez. We do not have a staff update today.
Thank you, Kimber. Okay, any comments from the committee members? Any other public comments?
Currently do not have any verbal comments, and just like I mentioned before, the written comments that were submitted through email to the members.
Okay. And, it's what I would like to do is adjourn the meeting and let the minutes reflect adjourn the meeting in honor of Tony Santiago.
Thank you,
Okay.
Brian.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good luck, Tony.
Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, Tony.
luck.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey, Rochelle, you still there?